ready.
You know it's gonna be no holds barred. I'm gonna ask you all the good shit.
Ask away. I'm an open book.
All right, all right. Let's get to it. Say your name, your genre, and what anything you want anybody to know before we get started.
My name is Darlene Cunningham. I don't have a genre. I just write what the characters tell me to write. And you can check out my catalog in physical, e-copy, and audiobooks at darlenecunningham.com.
Okay, let's get through the bullshit ass questions first before I get to the real shit. Let's go. So, what inspired you to start writing?
I've been wanting to write all my life. I've always had the urge to put down feelings to pen. I've been an avid reader since about 8 or 9 years old. I would just curl up on Saturdays and read. So I always had a love of words. What made me decide to fully publish a book was therapy and AJ Davison. Yeah.
Oh, really? How?
I the story So This Is College was just in my head and I wanted to put it to words, but I didn't feel I had what it took because I'd never written a book before. And so I was just like, I want someone to write my story. I want someone to write my story. And I did a TikTok. And AJ Davis said, if you want your story told, the best person to tell it is you.
Yeah.
So I got to write when she said that.
I don't think nobody else could have wrote that better than you. I'm sorry. No. So what you write interracial, multicultural, black romance, shit. What drew you to any of these goddamn genres?
My imagination. It's literally my imagination. I wake up in the middle of the night with these crazy stories, and if they keep talking to me, I put them down. Sometimes people like E. Bowser, I'm calling her out, she'll send me a TikTok and she'll say, Cunningham, write it. And I was like, oh, I don't feel that story. I'm not writing that. I'm not feeling that. And then I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up in the middle of the night or a couple of days later, the story will just create itself. And so that's why I say I don't write a genre, because I dreamed up a monster romance that's a whip. I have a Medusa urban retelling that's going to take some time. It's I can't put myself in a box.
Yeah.
Because I don't write according to a genre. I write according to my emotions and my creativity as it goes.
So how do you think, because you write so diverse across every genre, you know what I'm saying, these love stories, do you think they've made you stronger as a storyteller?
You mean telling the stories?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
How
When
so?
I wrote So This Is College, um, it was a great story,
Mm,
and I just kind of regurgitated it. I
yeah.
didn't edit anything. My editing process sucked because it was my first time. I didn't want nobody critiquing me. Didn't understand the process, and I
Mm-hmm.
just regurgitated it. Even
Mm-hmm.
though it gave a lot of information, that book could have been a demon's dream in length
Mm-hmm.
if I had taken the time to develop it and like it should have been. So
Mm-hmm.
once I realized that, I realized, okay, darling, you've got to focus more, you've got to do more, and you've got to really think about the story and
Yeah.
how to implement it. So I think writing the story made me I got strong. I became a stronger writer
Mm-hmm.
in writing the story. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah. I just told you I'm trying to get through all the bullshit questions
Okay.
before I get to the nasty shit. Okay.
Okay.
um, you have, to me, and I'm saying this for my own opinion, you
Uh-huh.
have a very unique writing style that only fits you, and I don't see anybody else writing the style that you write because it fits your personality, it fits you. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel pressure to keep up this pace of putting out so many books, or is it just natural and a part of who you are as a writer?
I do sometimes feel pressure because I have stories that people want, and
Mm,
I feel pressure to write them. However, I don't want to force the process.
mm-hmm.
My first year, I wrote 8 or 9 books my first year. So when the stories come, I write them down, and I'm constantly writing now.
Mm.
But there is some pressure because I have the fourth book in the Seasons Change series, which I'm currently working on now. I have Naughty Professor, which everyone wanted to know Professor Resto's story. So it's a little bit of pressure for me there because each year it's like, okay, when are you going to finish it? When are you going to finish it?
Mm.
Um, so that's a little bit of pressure, but I'm slowly but surely learning. I can only do what I can do, and they'll be there. You know?
You right, because Darlene, you need a break too.
Yeah.
Even though you don't like breaks, but you
I
need a
know.
break too.
I know.
What's your writing routine like? Do you plan everything out? Do you let the story lead you? What's your writing? What is Darlene Cunningham's writing process?
Well, normally on my days off, I sit in front of my laptop about 5 or 6 in the morning, and I'll write all day, like an 8 hour job.
Damn.
Because I work at night, I write for 8 hours straight on those 2 days. And so I try to get out as much as I can. But one thing I do notice, like when I'm at work,
Mm-hmm.
certain lines will come to me, and I'm on my phone writing it in. I pulled over in my car one day to get out thoughts. I actually voice noted it to Ebony and Shannon before I wrote out the scene because I was in my car listening to music, and the scene just played in my head. I was like, I gotta get it down. I literally parked on my way to work and just
Damn.
yeah, so I try to set aside time to do it. On Saturday and Sundays, I do full 8 hours. But when they start talking to me, I have to write it down. I have like 5 and 10 emails a day where I've sent scenarios of different stories that I'm working on. And
Mm.
I put it down on paper. So when I sit down on my day off, I can put it on Scrivener.
So, what are some stereotypes? Now, I've heard you speak on this, shit, and I just want to get it on record because it's true. It's true. So, what are some stereotypes about Black love that you wish Black love, multicultural, interracial, across the board, you wish people both within and outside the Black community would stop perpetuating?
Um, I want people to stop thinking, first of all, that interracial romance is because someone hates a culture or someone's fetishizing a culture when that's not the case.
Mm.
With Santa Baby, Joshua never dated a black woman. He wasn't opposed to it, but he just never dated one. But when he met a black woman, it wasn't always about figuring out her blackness. It
Mm.
was just trying to get to know her. So with
Yeah.
interracial romance, I just want so what they're different. I just want you to see two people trying to get together. You
Mm.
know, I understand that them being a different race or culture is a thing, but the main thing is the attraction first. It's not the race first. It's not the culture first. It's the attraction first.
Yeah.
So that's a misconception. The thing with black romance is something that I loathe is that a black man in a lot of stories can't be sensitive and emotional and can't seek help. You know what I mean? Like with Jerome, Jerome was in therapy. He knew he was a cinnamon roll. He wore his heart on his sleeve. He was vulnerable. So I
Mm-hmm.
try to make all my male characters vulnerable. And in addition to that, I try to dispel these black myths that we have. Like just because you live with your parent doesn't mean you're living off them. Jerome was a millionaire. He lived in the home with his mom, but he wasn't living off his mom. And I actually played that out in the story. Justin, who was the hockey player, we think all hockey players are dogs. Justin just wanted to be to himself. He didn't want no drama. He wasn't womanizing. You know what I mean? And so, and the role reversed because Jaleesa was dating white men because they were white only. So I try to dispel those myths and I try to show the opposite of
Mm.
everything. You know what I mean?
And I appreciate you for it because my kids sure do live with me, but
Right,
she got her own job,
right,
her own
right.
life. So, how do you ensure your books showcase authentic, um, multi, I guess, dimensional Black characters, especially in romance?
How do I show them?
Yeah, like your males or females, because not every character in your book is Black, but the ones that are Black, how do you show the dimension in which they are so that it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. I try to show that you can use AAVE and not be from the hood. I
Mm-hmm.
intertwine what I call Black speak with AAVE. If you
Mm-hmm.
notice in all my books, they have moments of articulation, as we could say. They have a moment of professional vernacular, and then the next moment they cussing each other out and using slang. So I just try to show that we're not a monolith. I try to
Mm-hmm.
show that we can be all of those things, and all of that can encompass Black people. And
Mm-hmm.
Black people don't ski. Brandy was listening to Nine Inch Nails. We can listen to rock music and know about Prince and throw in a rap lyric. You know what I mean? So I try to show that our our skin color doesn't determine what we are, that we are specific to one thing. We're
Mm-hmm.
multifaceted people. And so I think with my dialogue, that's how I show um, what Blackness is in all
Yeah.
aspects. Did that answer the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Let's talk about Season Change, the Season
Okay.
Change series.
Mhm.
This series highlights love coming unexpectedly
Yep.
a lot of times, and you even feature an older character, older woman, who's falling for a younger man.
Yes.
Why is it important for you to explore this dynamic when it comes to Black love?
Because I've experienced it. You know, when they say a writer always puts a piece of himself in their stories, I
Mm-hmm.
feel as if on some level, subconsciously, I'm telling my life through my stories.
Mm.
Everything in my stories, I can heavily relate it to something that's happened in my life. So with Kayla, you know, in my 40s, young men were just approaching me. I wasn't even trying to talk to young men. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's interpret.
Pause. Now you know what you wrote. I know what you wrote. What you saying?
Which book?
What you mean?
A lot of the experiences in, so this is college, I could relate to. A lot of the experiences in Black People Don't Ski, I could relate to. Like I said, I've lived some lives. Um,
You nasty.
so yeah, I mean, not everything that happened in the story, but it's loosely based and some of it is exaggerated, but a lot of things are based on experiences I've had.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So, listen, you brought up this is college. So, the book follows an older, character navigating college life and how much of this storyline
Mhm.
do you think resonates with your readers?
The thing I think I feel like doesn't resonate, but I know it does. They just like talking about the sex scenes a lot. The the thing I hope that readers really resonate with is not Diane's amount of sexual partners, but the
Mm-hmm.
reason behind why she's doing what she does. I want
Mm-hmm.
readers to get to the psychological and emotional part of healing trauma or whatever that causes a person to do the things they do. Like, and I relate it all to sex. Like Professor Resto, he was healing, trying to work out his trauma through sex. Diane was trying to work hers out through sex.
Mm.
Jared, he worked his out through beating people's ass. But you know, I want to show that, I want people to see, and I hope the readers get the psychological aspect to everything. But sex is a part of life, so you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you gave her freedom to explore her sexuality. And the fact that she was plus size, because look here, y'all. Not all of us is skinny bitches, all right? Some of us got the fupa. You
Right,
know what I'm saying? So I like that you incorporated her being plus size, being older, because I was older going to college.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Why was it important um for you to include all of that in her journey within this story?
Not only that, she didn't feel judged for being who she was sexually. Like I said, those are stereotypes. You
Yeah.
know, she's older, she's a plus size girl, and even though being a plus size girl, she wasn't curvy, she was fat. Let's keep it a buck. I don't like that word curvy because curvy and fat are
Who's
two
like
different
curvy?
things.
I said plus size.
No, I'm looking at A. Lewis's comment. But to me, I think a lot of people have the stereotype that because you're fat, that you're unattractive or that you
Mm,
feel unattractive. Not that we don't go through things, because when she was walking up the hill, how she fake paused to look at her phone to
mm,
catch her breath, that's a very real thing. But men were attracted to her in the same breath. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And she wasn't like, why he looking at me? She wasn't like, she knew she was attractive. She knew
Yeah.
that her size was appealing to the eye and her face was appealing to the eye. And so I wanted to show her being comfortable in her sexuality. Not that, and there's this whole thing that black women are black bigger women are highly sex driven, or have high sex drives. No, we're just confident in who we are sexually. It's
Facts.
people that fetishize us that makes us try to feel like we're a sexual. That's all we think about. No, you're fetishizing me. I know who I am as a sexual being, and
Mm,
I like smashing just like you like smashing. And
facts.
and I'm not in a relationship. I'm protecting myself. I can do what I want. This is my ussy. I can do what I want. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the thing. I just try to get people to see how they're being judgmental and how
Mm,
they're so caught up in stereotypes that they don't see the totality of a situation,
yeah.
and to try to get them out of that judgy state and see people for who they are, individuals.
And and that's true. I may be built like a fucking Tahoe, but I bet you this puss will get yo nigga if I wanted to, if I was single. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
So weight ain't got shit to do.
With attraction, exactly. It has
Nothing.
some people are attracted to bigger women, and if you look in Roman and Greek times, the bigger women were more attractive. If you look at the paintings from those time periods, bigger women and bigger men were more appealing because they associated that with wealth.
Yeah.
Because when you were bigger, that means you had the means to buy food. Poor people
Mm,
were skinny because they couldn't afford to eat. So that's why weight became appealing in those times. And I just try to challenge social mores, because
mm-hmm.
now stick figure looking like you're hungry is popularized. And it shouldn't be that way. You know what I
It
mean?
is.
So it's all fetishization. I don't care if you're a woman or a man, it's all fetishization.
Mm-hmm.
So if society continues to feed you the propaganda, you're gonna believe it. Who's feeding
Right.
us that big girls are not attractive? You know what I mean? It's society. Who's every year everybody talking about, oh, I'm gonna do a cleanse, I'm gonna do a fast. Are you doing it because you want to be healthy, or are you doing it because you feel bad about being in the body you're in? And I think the more and that's why, you have to be comfortable with the body you're in, with who you are and how you are. I am naturally loud. That's my personality. I am a naturally sexually explicit person. I curse because I feel happy when I curse. I don't even curse when I'm angry. I curse when I'm happy. But society says cursing is a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I am extroverted. I'm quirky. I'm eclectic. I'm
Mm-hmm.
the eccentric old lady. People try to make you feel bad for being who you organically are. And in my stories, I try to challenge all that shit. Because
And
be who the hell you are,
and
unapologetic.
that's why I love your stories. That's why I love your stories. That part right there. Too many times people say, "Oh, you listen to rock music. Oh, you listen to K-pop. You read comic books. You like anime. Um, but you live in the hood. How you like that? But then you hood. Oh, you got how many degrees? Right, right. See, it's those stereotypes really irritate me, and that's why I like the way you write,
Yeah,
Darlene.
yeah, yeah.
That's why I love it. If ain't nobody told you today, I love it. But just don't pick me up again. That played into my ego. I don't like that shit.
Okay. Okay.
But the men in your book, so this is college, were intense. They were intense, but they desired her completely.
Hmm.
Desired her completely, and I mean desired.
And her weight wasn't an issue with them because they were just
Right.
attracted to her.
So, how crucial is it for you to showcase confidence in Black women through your books, through your story, and that's across the board of all your writing?
Just making sure that each woman lives in her truth. If each
Mm,
character I write is authentically who they are unapologetically, then that's going to shine through because I
Mm,
can't write a character. I can't write an insecure character because I'm not insecure.
right. True. So let's talk about Hockey Life.
Okay. That book rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. That Jaleesa character. Go ahead.
It was like an enemies to lovers, but Jaleesa did rub me the wrong way with her whole mentality of hold on for a sec. Out now.
Ooh.
Um
The dog got scared, baby. I'm scared
he
for the
did. He did
baby.
his Scooby run. Um but even though how can I put this? Because I know a lot of people date interracial.
Yes.
That's not my problem.
Right.
My problem was how she went about it.
Yes.
It was like white men were superior because we hear it all the time with
Yes.
black men in these podcasts.
Right.
But she was like, pretty much white men were superior. I didn't want to date a black man, and this black man was too cocky for me. When he was not, he was cocky, but not in the sense that she was trying to make it.
Right.
And just to see it from the opposite point of view, whoo, bruh, that shit was a hard pill to swallow.
And that's why I did it that way. Because normally, and you know me, I go against stereotypes. So
Mm-hmm.
most people see a hockey player, they would think, oh, he got white women, he dating white women. I wanted to show it from a woman's perspective because I wanted us to put the mirrors to our faces. We all do all this judging. Why you dating who you date? Why you dating what you date?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make sure that she knew she was doing something wrong, but she was frustrated with her past situation and she didn't know how to correct it or fix it or find what she was looking for. And so I had the men around her tell her she was wrong, hold her accountable. Just like women hold men accountable, I had the men in the book hold her accountable.
And it was funny. Well, not well. I don't know. It was funny how um it's so relatable to us as black women because sometimes we do hold on to the hurt of what another nigga did and then take it out on the next man.
Yep.
And she, instead of taking it out on the next man, she decided, fuck the whole race. She said, fuck the whole race. I'm only dating white men, even though they're not satisfying me.
She decided not to hold it against men until she met a black man that she liked. And because she liked him, she wanted to hate him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
that book was good. That even though it was a sports romance, it was good because it really is stuff that happens in our community so much. Because there are a lot of black men that turn around and say, "I'm not dating another black woman because one, mind you, one had pissed them off so bad." We all fucking ratchet bitches. And it's all with the women.
Yep. It's all about pivotal moments in your life. I feel like if you've had a strong pivotal moment in your life, and that was a strong pivotal moment for Jaleesa, it can change your entire course. You can have a teacher that can say something to you that sparks a light bulb, and they'll change your entire direction of how you go. You can have a love relationship, and that person poured into you so much that it entirely changes your course. So when they damage you, that takes you on another course. So it's all about pivotal people in your lives at a certain point in time that causes you to shift, whether it be in a positive way or negative way. Those are pivotal people.
Yeah. But let's talk, and I'm gonna tell y'all this before I even ask this question. I have not read Are You Protected? Okay, I have not read it. I'm working up the nerve. All right, leave me the fuck alone. Now, this award-winning, congratulations, this award-winning book took you into darker themes and dark romance. How was that writing experience for you?
For me, it was dark. When you look at black standards for dark romance, white standards tend to go into crime. For me, that they take it to the extreme, and some people like that, and that's okay. I'm not knocking it. But for me, I wanted to, as a black author, to break the societal norms that Black people try to hold us all accountable for across all boards. You
Mm-hmm.
know, somebody doing what they did, well, for who they were, that happens in Black families all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But to openly talk about it, it's like, oh, I can't believe she put that in her book. It's almost like when we discuss taboo topics in our books, we get shitted on more than when a white author does it. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
white authors kidnap people, you know, come dangerously close to incest and all that other stuff, and they don't, their book get praised. But
Mm-hmm.
when someone Black writes a book that's kind of going there, that's not urban fiction, it's like, why was she
Yeah.
putting that in the story? So I kind of wanted to break the mold. Like for me, and I love In the Gray. In the Gray was amazing. But to me, I would have took it there. I would have had the daddy and the daughter biting it out. It wouldn't have been an In the Gray. It would have been straight up Black. So I feel like I wanted to kind of surpass the hinting around. I wanted to get straight to it. Why are you looking like that?
Because you know that book traumatized me.
Oh,
Every time I think about water in that book, I am floored.
right, right. So I just want to take it past. I don't want people to figure out, are they really? No, yeah, they brothers and sisters, they know it and they smashing. And what?
Oh Jesus. This is why I ain't read shit yet.
So I just wanted to take it someplace that I feel like Black authors do take it, but it's
Mm.
more, I don't even know if I should say it's urban. Uh,
I wouldn't say it's herb. Hold on for a minute. I don't know why TikTok does this. Okay. I would not say it's urban because urban is just a backdrop. You know
right,
what I'm saying? It's just a breathing, living environment of a backdrop.
right,
I would just say is y'all are going darker and it's almost street lit
right.
because street lit has
Yeah,
no
street
order.
lit has that's the thing. Street lit has the elements of drug dealing, killing, kidnapping, and all that. And that's what makes it dark romance to me. But we just gave it street lit because at the time we weren't allowed in white spaces. So
Mm-hmm.
writing dark romance as a Black writer with Black characters, it's
Mm-hmm.
street lit. But we've just changed it because, street lit is kind of stereotypically you would think hood books, and it's not the case.
It's
I,
not.
I think dark romance and street lit are kind of the same thing.
Because street lit has no trigger warnings.
Right.
If y'all ever read a street lit book, there's no trigger warning.
But the reason I put in trigger warnings is because,
It's a new generation.
yeah, they not all Gen Xers. They didn't go in full fledged like we
We
used to
was,
go in. We didn't have trigger warnings.
we
I
was
understand,
drinking water from the damn hose and shit
right. I
outside.
understand the millennials and Gen Z in they soft people era, so I have to accommodate the soft people.
No offense, no shade. Yes, it
Right,
is.
no
Yes, it is.
disrespect, respectfully, as the young people say. Respectfully.
So, what drew you to dark romance, and how do you ensure um that the dark that how do you ensure that Black females in your books are never subjected to harmful tropes in the genre?
Um, what attracted me to dark romance? I didn't know my mind was going dark until Shannon told me it was gonna go dark. Like
Mm.
she saw it's something, and so this is college where it could have been darker. So I think she saw the potential in me, and she told me to explore it. And that's who really told me about, who got me into exploring the dark side. I didn't even know I had a dark side. I thought so this is college was just a regular slice of life story.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You didn't know from This Is College that you had a dark. Did you read This Is College? Because I could tell you that shit was dark as shit. It was nasty, yes, but the suspense that was going on in
Yeah.
that book,
Yeah.
girl.
So yeah, so Shannon saw it. And so that's what allowed me to write dark. And I feel like you can write dark without disrespecting a Black woman.
Yeah.
Degradation is a part of BDSM community. You know that, I know that. A lot of readers don't. And this wasn't a BDSM book. It was just a dark book. So how do you say it? He degraded her, but he didn't disrespect her, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think we get confused with, you ain't gonna disrespect me. You ain't gonna, no. I want you to see it for the totality that it is. You know what I mean? So I try to make sure that each female character gets treated like I would want to get treated. And if
Mm-hmm.
I don't get treated the way they're getting treated, how would they handle that? How would I handle that? So I'm very I don't know if it maybe is a conscious thing because I know who I am, and I don't ever want a character in my book being disrespected.
Yeah. The thing about it is a lot of people are very sensitive.
Yeah,
And once again, I will say this is my page, this is my show. If you don't like what I'm talking about, please exit the stage left.
period.
Deuces. But I feel like a lot of people are very sensitive. They don't I understand sometimes people don't take from their elders
Right.
because a lot of the elders are dreadful. But when I say they're sensitive in the way of sexuality,
Yeah.
when it comes to black women,
Yeah.
they are ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
They will scream from the rooftops, my body autonomy. But
Mm-hmm.
the minute you put sexuality into it, it's like not that far. Not that far.
And it's so one-sided because the men can go ham, but the women can't. Who are the men going ham with if it ain't with a woman?
Or they're going ham with a man and they just don't
Right.
want to admit that
Right.
they're
But
going ham
yeah,
with a man.
yeah. So I just kind of want us to see how ignorant we sound.
Yeah.
Because how can you expect a man to sow his oats? Who is he sowing it with? You know what I mean? And I think we try to hold these women to these certain standards, and it's rooted in religion, to feel ashamed of your body, ashamed of that's why women don't know what an orgasm is and don't experience one until they hit their 40s. Because they're so afraid. They don't want a man to go down. He can't do that, but you slobbing on knobs like corn on the cobs every day. But you can't. We're taught as women that we shouldn't experience pleasure, that it's a bad thing. No, feeling good is a good thing. Feeling good is an amazing thing, and I believe that we, as a black community, because I can't talk about white folks, I ain't grow up white. People in the black community hold us to a higher standard in religion, and I feel like we're so steeped in our traumatic religious experiences that we can't even write stories without considering what people gonna
Mm.
think. When I write, I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks.
Right.
I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying to be on my brand, but I don't
Okay.
give a fuck what people think when I write my stories.
Darlene, your brand is you being authentically you. So therefore, regardless, if people are offended by how you're speaking, then they are not for your brand.
Right, right, exactly. But it's a writer friend of mine. She always say this, and I don't like the fact that she says it because I think she could take it to the next level. Well, I just don't know what people are gonna think. I don't give a fuck what you think. After I write it and put it out there, if it's meant for you to read, consume, and enjoy, have at it. If it's not, put it down and don't pick it up. So
Thanks.
I don't get caught up into what somebody gonna think because I spent my entire life mostly worried about what a motherfucker thought, and I
Thanks.
and I became freer once I stopped giving a fuck what anybody thought.
And that's facts. Which leads me into hold on, I gotta play this song first. Okay, okay. We finna talk about 12 play. I had to play that segue into what we all right. So 12 play.
Yes, ma'am.
That will forever be my favorite fucking book. It on top. So this is college. I don't know if it's the Dom in me, but baby, Octavius and motherfucking Teresa. Is that her name? Teresa
Teresa
or Chris
and Midnight, Chris and
and
Midnight.
Midnight? My God, my God, today, Jesus, girl. I said, self, this bitch got it. Oh, so your newest was 12 play. Y'all, when I say if y'all don't go get this goddamn book off our website,
DarleneCunningham.com.
is Black BDSM in its glory. Okay? This book takes place in a world of high level Black professionals who become, who are Doms and submissives at Club Liquid. I like that. I like that. How do you like research this setting? Now I already know about you, darling. I already know, but I gotta ask a question.
Okay.
How do you research these settings to keep BDSM rooted in Black spaces rather than mainstream white narratives?
Mm-hmm. Well, I have an interest in BDSM, a strong interest. I dabble. And I'm Black. And I live in Atlanta, and there's a club in Atlanta where you can actually bring your own alcohol, go into the club, and have all the fun you want to have. So I just think it's about experiences, exploring who I am as a sexual being, exploring what I like as a sexual being, understanding that I am strong and independent, and I hate being strong. I hate being the responsible one.
Mm.
I hate being responsible. I hate worrying about bills. I hate having to worry to go to a job. I hate having to organize. The Leo in me, we don't like the details. You know that.
Wait a minute. We two sides of a different coin.
Okay, two sides of a different coin. I don't like details. I see the big picture. Now you work out the details and get the big picture done. That's how I am. So that's
said name, location, and coordinates.
so that's how I am, and so it spills into me sexually. I want a partner that's going to allow me to do nothing. I want a partner that's going to say, no, this is what we're going to do. And I say, okay, because I don't have that luxury in my everyday life to do that. So that's how I kind of got into BDSM. And a lot of people get it confused. They think BDSM is just this sexual pornography type thing. It's not. Sex is such a small part of the BDSM community.
It's 10% out of 90.
Right. It's more about the mental and emotional care that the person needs. A submissive needs a certain type of emotional and mental care, just like a dominant needs a certain type of emotional and mental care. So that's just naturally ingrained in who I am. So when I wrote the story, it was very easy, and only a true BDSM can understand certain things I put in that book.
Oh, I loved it.
So that's why I gave all the trigger warnings I needed to give, and I told them, if you ain't down with this kind of thing, then back away.
But you also told them this is the type of book that have you.
Yeah, if you want to go have sex with your partner, or if you want to go have sex with yourself, this is what this book is for.
Yep.
So
yeah.
So
go ahead. No, go ahead.
So when I wrote that, I wrote it specifically for people who are curious about it. I wrote it specifically for people who were in it. And I kind of wanted to show, because Octavia was a dominant without being loud and rowdy. People think you have to shout and bitch come in. No, that's not a dominant. I wanted to show how a dominant carries themselves outside of the bedroom and how he can allow people to heal. Because Bellamy was the loud, rowdy one. Bellamy just needed to come to heal. Bellamy was submissive. Octavius is the dom. You know what I mean? So that I wanted to show the whole lifestyle in totality, not just with the sexual side, but with the mental and emotional aspects of it also, and how it plays into professional.
And I honestly want to say I commend you as someone in the lifestyle, someone who is a dom. I felt seen.
Right.
Even though I'm a female dom, the same thing Octavius goes through is we go through too.
Right.
And I love the fact that it really represents BDSM to its fullest.
Right.
Because those loud motherfuckers that y'all hear, them loud, that they're not doms, they're submissive as hell. Yeah. That is just a facade that they show you. Yeah. And you automatically in your head hear loudness and equate it to dominance.
Yeah.
A true dom is very subtle, very quiet, and their aura about them will lead you to say, "Oh shit."
Let me give you a prime example, and you don't remember this maybe, but I remember it at Boozy Book Tour. I am a submissive, and I'm loud as hell.
Mm.
I was in we were in the location. The music was jamming, good music, but I was sitting there. I don't like this song. I wish you would play something I like. I wish you would play something. And you were sitting there. You said, Darlene, what do you want him to play? What do you want to hear? And you were so calm with it, but I was like, I don't like this. I don't know this. I don't know this. I don't know. And the music was thumping. But me being in my submissive state, needing the attention, and you were so calm with it. And when you asked me that, I was like, well, I don't know what I want to hear. Do you remember that at Boozy Book Tour?
No, but I'm like that in person for real.
And so that just goes to that's the prime example of a dominant submissive relationship. I wanted to be heard, and everybody at the table heard me complaining. She was the one who said, well, what do you want to hear? And once she showed me that attention, oh, I didn't know what I wanted to hear. And I didn't say shit else the whole night about nothing. So that and it's so natural to us, we don't even realize that we're in it. So that's what I'm saying. So somebody who you see be like, oh, she loud, she independent. No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm the submissive. So whenever you get around a person that's really loud, really extroverted, really da 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 da, they're submissive and they're looking for someone that's dominant to kind of tame that. But go ahead.
Lord, don't be putting my business out there.
I'm sorry, but and it didn't leave my thoughts. I was like, she really dominated me and didn't even realize.
But that's that. I mean, a true dom lives it, breathes it. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And they don't intentionally do it. It's just a part of them.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people like to say, I am a dom and I'll dom the shit out of you. I have never nor ever, and I am married. Not even my husband doms me. He respects me and treats me as his partner 50-50, but he will never, ever, and nor will any man that gets on this damn internet that sends me messages will dom me.
And see, and that's the thing too. I think that people believe a dominant is someone that is aggressive.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. A dominant is only dominant in the bedroom when y'all having sex. No, that's not the case. It encompasses who you are as a person. And that's kind of what I wanted to show with 12 play. Octavius was about his business. You saw his sensitive side when it came to his parents, when it came to wanting a relationship with a woman. But make no mistakes, he was dominant through and through. He didn't have to buck. He didn't have to bark. He didn't have to do any of that. He came calm in every situation. That's how you know you have so. And I think that's probably why I like quiet men personally. Every man that I meet is the quiet one, the calm one.
Yeah. A man doesn't have to be loud. A man or woman, you don't have to be loud. Now, don't get it twisted. I do get loud when I need to, but most of the times when I get loud, that means my fist is coming.
Right.
But,
right.
but you know what I'm saying? A dominant does not have to be loud. Octavius is someone that is realistic to me because that is real life dom.
Yeah.
These doms that you see online are not doms.
Exactly.
Except for like a small few.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you took the time to just really explore each side of the coin. Submissives get a bad rap because people assume they're pushovers, that they can be walked over. Teresa was not a pushover.
No, at all. At all. And Teresa is like the epitome of a submissive. She was a businesswoman, badass businesswoman. She had her finances in order. She was intellectually intelligent. She was emotionally intelligent. She was able to recognize who she was, what she was, and what she was missing. And she knew where to go to get what she needed.
Yeah.
And once she went to where she could get what she needed, she let all of that shit go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think every black woman, nothing against you white women, y'all have enough. But I think every black woman, regardless if you are in the scene or not, needs to read this book because it will resonate with you on a level that is not just sexual, but it will hit you mentally and emotionally. For the simple fact, what went down in this book is true to life itself,
Mhm.
especially on a mental level.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women don't know what an orgasm is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women are scared that they're skirters or creamers. You know what I'm saying? Because they think it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because society told you that shit. But you got white bitches on here doing it faithfully. Faithfully on the corn hub
Yeah.
and OF.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. Any person that told you that's wrong, it's probably because they're insecure about their own shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you also have this audio. You also had the audio book. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. Me and my husband listen to the audio book. Yo, A. Lewis and D. Lewis. I got to drink. Mm, mm, mm. Woo, Jesus. Yo, if you got a toy, a significant other, I want you to make sure it's handy when you are listening to this audiobook. Because that shit's so sexy. I don't know if I can look you in the eye anymore, A. You or D. Cause I'm like, and me and Jonathan was like,
And that's the thing too. When I asked AA to find me a narrator, she was working on it, but at the time the tornadoes had hit the southeast, so she was having a hard time finding me a narrator for the story. And so, you know me, I'm gonna do it myself, you know. So Daryl, I heard him, and so I reached out, and he said, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll get my, AA to send you something." And so AA told me, he was like, "Why didn't you tell me she was looking for somebody?" She said, "I was gonna bring it to you, but I just wanted to go through these steps first." So we worked everything out, and so she said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And she was trying to find a female narrator, and they were booked up at the time. And that's when Dee suggested that she did it with him because she got acting chops. Y'all don't know this, but she got some acting chops. And so she said, "Well, we'll do it or whatever, blah blah blah, and we'll send you." Said I was like, "Nope." I said, "You're the expert." And see, I'm that kind of person. If you say you're an expert in this field or you've had a license or certificate in that field, don't ask me, somebody who don't have the expertise in that field, what I want. Do what you feel is best for the story. I've written a story, you make it do what it do. And I said, I want to hear it when everyone else hears it. And I literally told them that. I was like, do whatever you want to do, change whatever you need to change, do whatever you need to do. I'm giving you full control. I want to hear when everyone else hears it.
But
And when you give someone who's an expert in their field full reign to make your product what they see it as, 12 play the audiobook is what you get.
that shit nasty heart. The way the moaning and the groaning and the bruh, bruh. I'm telling y'all, this shit, whew, that shit is hot. That shit is hot. When I say hot, now my man, my husband is not in BDSM. He is not into none of that, and he was like, "Damn." And this nigga turned to me. What you trying to do? What you trying to do? Shit. What up? What up? Because girl,
Yeah,
the pearls clutched.
yeah. They took the book to another level, and D always says he just read what I wrote, but their narration and their sounds and the realism, they heightened, they took that book to another level. Because if you listen to that audio as you're reading the book, your imagination literally, it plays out when you read it, but listening to it takes it to another level, and it'll allow you to enjoy yourself even more when you listen to it.
That shit was good. So I want to ask you, in your writing,
Mhm.
how do you determine what's filthy sex versus regular sex? And what's your personal scale for spice?
I don't think there's a such thing as filthy sex.
Really?
Sex is
What? What?
sex is sex. You just
Really?
like a certain type of sex, but sex is sex to me.
Really?
Missionary can be filthy, you know. Anything can be filthy.
Hmm.
So it just, you know, baby, sex is sex. Who says sex is something to be filthy? Filthy is a bad word to me. Sex is
Really?
amazing. Sex is wonderful. Ain't nothing bad about sex. Ain't no level of, you know, sex is sex.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know because my opinion,
Hmm.
I feel like there is levels. There's levels to sex. I feel like filthy sex is when I have my hand around your neck and I'm saying, now act like the slut that I told you to act like.
Now, what's the end result of that?
Acting like the slut that I told you to act like.
So if someone tells you to lay back, don't move, open your legs and let me handle it. It
That's
makes
part of filthy sex to me.
okay.
But
So okay.
but if someone is regular sex to me is it does not there's no words. It's just really sweet. It's really normal, I guess. To me, it feels just normal. Like, oh, we're in a relationship. Whoop de woo, we're gonna have sex. Very vanilla, right? Yeah, Tyler, very vanilla. When I say filthy sex, it's basically I have gripped the side of your pressure points and I have made you come without any penetration, the tongue or anything. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So that's filthy sex to me. Whereas regular sex is very vanilla. There's no words. There's no, I'm in your ear. Did I tell you to come? Did I tell you? That is filthy sex to me.
But see, to me, what you would consider vanilla sex could be filthy to me because I don't need you to talk to me. Because there are some times when I don't want you to say shit to me.
But then
Just
again, you're a brat.
slow stroke it. Let me be in my head.
But then again, you're a brat. You're a brat. You are a hardcore brat. So therefore, your words, what you're saying, and the dominant is like, she don't mean that. She don't mean that.
What was the question again?
Uh huh. Uh huh. Right. Yes, very book up. There is very much pressure points in the neck that makes
Mhm.
someone come.
Yeah, when you notice in a story when I said he put his hand in her jugular, or he'll feel her pulse point here, that's what she's talking about.
And I am a connoisseur of pressure points. So
Even behind the ear, like right here. So I have a thing with biting, like
she
bite
said,
bite.
"Oh, tell us more." I'm not giving a class. That means you got to get tickets for Denver. If you want to see me in action, you guys get tickets for Denver. But anywho,
Back
so
to 12 play. What about filthiness? Did you want to know? What's my level?
what's your level? What is your personal scale of spice? What is the
Right.
Darlene
To
scale?
me, it depends on your sexual experience or your sexual history.
Mm,
Because what's like some people call spicy books spicy when it's just two people who are in a relationship and they just smashing a lot. I remember Rowdy Rooksky said, you know, people say, you know, it's too much sex and try to wait till like the last part of the book to add the sex. When you first meet someone and you start dating, like after you come through the getting to know each other stage and this is we're going to be in a relationship, a lot of that time is spent smashing. So
facts.
I don't see where my books are super sexy or super spicy because they just do what people do in a normal relationship. And that just ties back into these social mores of not having sex too soon. You can have sex with on the first date and be with the person for
Facts.
12, 13 years. So, you know what I mean? So now, but 12 play is spicy, spicy, spicy. Professor Valentine, which is also a BDSM romance, is an interracial BDSM romance. That spice level, it titillizes, you know, a little bit. It just gives you a little insight it doesn't give you the full throttle. So I don't know if I have a determination for spice level because it
Mhm.
depends on the individual and their sexual history and
Yeah.
what they deem as prudish or not prudish.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for me to consider something filthy.
I just want everybody to understand that Darlene writes what she feels, right? And sometimes the characters will come out of blue moon on her ass. But when she writes some nasty shit, it be nasty for real, for real. It be really nasty. But I also want people to understand, don't come into her space on this preconceived notion of sex that you get from another book.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's gonna give you the raw and for real.
Hmm.
Because there's nothing wrong with sex at all. That's the problem with black people in the first damn place.
Hmm.
We complain about a lot of shit, and especially and it revolves around sex.
Yeah.
So I need y'all to understand that she is an author that is going to give what she wants to give because she understands that y'all as readers, us as readers,
Hmm.
if you don't like something, you ain't even got to read it. Matter
Hmm.
of fact, if you read it and you DNF'd it, you ain't got to tell nobody.
Hmm.
That is your opinion. You can even DM the author respectfully
Yep.
and tell them the whys.
Yep.
But do not criticize her
Hmm.
because she writes across the board as genres. She does not, she's not one genre. She's not two genres. She writes across the board. So she has a little something for everybody. Just because you are not comfortable in your sexuality,
Hmm.
don't talk about 12 play like it ain't shit. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Because it's really fucking good. It's really fuck. The audiobook makes it even spicier.
Hmm. And let me just say something before I forget. I understand people want romance.
Mm.
However, the romance is for when we go on dates, when I buy you flowers, when we go to the park, when I rub your feet, when I cook you. That's romance. Sex in a relationship should be fucking sex.
Y'all breaking
I don't
headboard.
feel like, and I feel like in books, people want the sex scenes to always be she touched her cheek gently, she pulsed as she entered her core. They want that cleaned up, button up version. When we're in a relationship, when you think about yourself in a relationship, there's definitely a difference between the romantic side of your man and the straight up nasty. And I'm not saying that men don't give you the romantic soft touch and feels and all that other stuff, but a lot of times when that chemistry's right and that connection's there, and this man has just rubbed your feet after a hard day and listened to you complain about somebody, you want to give him that hawk tui because he did that for you. So I feel like my book is true to life. You
Facts.
know what I mean? The books are romance. They just have high spice level. So that to me is a big difference. Now, when it's erotica, BDSM, yes, that's erotica. Professor Valentine, that's kind of teetering on erotica, but not really. But I feel like we get confused in relationships where we feel like every aspect of the relationship is supposed to be romantic or it's not a real relationship. Not all the times do you want to be romantic and touched and gently caressed and slow stroke. Sometimes you want to be thrown up in the ceiling and hit the ceiling fan and spin a couple of times.
Your
So
thing.
that's one thing I want to say. You can be in a romantic relationship and still have nasty, like you say, nasty sex. So
And that's what it is, and that's why I am so hell bent on your books because I feel like over the years that I have known you, Darlene, I have watched you go through a lot of shit with a lot of influencers, a lot of people commenting on your shit, and it's all been derogatory when they come online to make things.
yeah,
I usually don't speak on a lot of shit because I try to stay out of it because I'm crazy.
right.
I punch you bitches in your throat for real. So therefore, I try to stay out of a lot of shit,
Yeah.
but I don't play about people that I care about. And I feel like, and I'm not coming as a person who's saying, "Oh, she's the, you just coming for her because you care about her. She's a friend." No, I'm saying this as a reader, someone who is reading, reviewing, and blogging books. She writes good, but she writes across the board for any demographic that wants to read her books.
Yep.
And so when I read Seasons Change, when I read her first book from Seasons Change, I, I was hooked. I was hooked. And I said it in my video. When I read her hockey life, I was like, shit, where the rugby? Because this shit good as hell. You know what I'm saying? And then reading So This Is College shit, I wanted her to continue. I literally said that in the video. I wanted her to continue like this was a motherfucking series.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was so good. It was romance suspense. She gives us that. In 12 play, y'all don't understand when it comes to Black BDSM, we are so underappreciated. We are so not written about well. People do not do their research. And then people always equate Black BDSM like white BDSM. And there is a fucking difference.
Yep.
So her writing that makes me feel seen. As an older woman who went to college, makes me feel seen. A enemies to lover relationship, shit, hell, I married him. You know, it literally makes me feel seen. You know what I'm saying? And then people took her books from So You Can't Swim, or what was the other? Black People Don't Ski. It was a play on the stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, people took the title. This is why I don't do titles and covers, because the synopsis would have told you.
Right.
So I just want to say thank you, Darlene.
You're welcome. And initially, you know me, because I don't hold back. I would respond or whatever. But I felt like if they don't understand, a lot of people get on TikTok and talk about things without doing their research. And
Yeah.
as an author, even though some authors don't do this, the first thing you're supposed to do is your research.
Yeah.
So I research everything if I don't have a vast knowledge of something. So the term Black people don't ski is something that boomers and some Gen Xers said to their children. Black people don't get in no water. Black people don't be going to no snow mountain. Black people don't ski. I was playing on the stereotypes that we as Black people have in our community and showing them that it's something different.
Yeah.
So in the book Black People Don't Ski, Black people could ski. In the book Black People Don't Swim, Kayla couldn't swim, but the Afro Puerto Rican could swim. He was actually very good at swimming, and the entire story was set around his family who fished, who stayed on the beach, and was around water. So, if you don't read my books, you wouldn't understand the play on words. And I feel like today TikTok makes people take everything so literally.
Mm-hmm.
They take everything literally. They don't understand sarcasm. They don't understand a lot. So you just sometimes have to let the ignorance be ignorant.
Yeah.
Because you can't respond on all the ignorance. Usually egg will come back to them. And I'm going to say this till the day I die. The AI situation. Everybody and their mama blasted me for that AI thing. And now some of their faves are using AI. I should have just sat back and watched it happen. And now all of them got egg on their face because what can they say?
Yeah. I think it's because they try to, everybody want to think piece, right? Everybody wants this. Well, not everybody. I'm just speaking in general.
Yeah.
People want a think piece. People want a viral moment.
Yeah.
People want to be argumentative.
Yeah.
For no reason other than they're lonely within themselves. And I know that might go over a lot of people's heads because I'm not lonely. That's the first thing you'll say. I'm not lonely. I don't need nobody. I got a man. I got a girl. But what pushed you to down another Black woman, but in the same breath and say, we need to respect all Black authors?
Right.
That makes no sense. But as I said, I try to stay out of it, but sometimes y'all be pushing me to the edge. And I'll be like, what?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just want to say, like I said, Darlene writes across the board for everyone. Not one person. And the thing about her Seasons Change series, there is a plethora of things that go on in the Black community that she spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
in those books that relate to any and every Black person.
Mm-hmm.
People stop looking at those covers only. Read the synopsis sometime. I know it's hard because some of y'all just are cover whores, and that's okay. But don't take what someone did and think uh they're trying to badmouth the Black community
Mm-hmm.
when they're Black.
Yeah.
Read the synopsis. Read it. I behoove you to
Mm-hmm.
believe. Read the synopsis. Okay.
To the audiobook. I mean, and that's the thing too, like with Vanta Black had a lot of sex in it. However, I always try to give historical context in all my books. With Vanta Black, she had anxiety because her family upped and moved without telling her. And I based it around the time during the Olympics because that's when Atlanta kind of blew up. Atlanta blew up when the Olympics came to Atlanta. And that kind of put Atlanta on the map if we want to keep it a buck. That's how Atlanta got put on the map. When I talk about hashtag hockey life, I always give historical reference of the city. Georgetown, which is majority white now, used to be an all Black town. And it was elite Blacks because initially that was where all the shipping supplies came in. So you had a lot of Blacks who were working at the docks. So with anything, and that's the thing that they would understand, if they just read my books, they would get the historical reference that I put in them. And that's why I kind of just let people say what they say unless I want to be petty at a time. But my books speak for themselves. If you read my stories, you're always going to get some type of a historical reference. Just like in 12 Play, the Black BDSM, right now in Atlanta, people are protesting putting up the Atlanta Police Department complex
Yep.
because it's destroying the natural trails, the hiking trails, and all that other stuff. So I'm giving you a historical context or context of the time around the story. So
Yeah.
you can see where I come from if you read my books. You know what I mean? If you just get out of your judgmental state, because I find that a lot of people read books to judge and to edit. They don't read the book going in with no preconceived notions. Go into every story with no preconceived notions. And I'm guilty of this. Like sometimes I'll see a book and I'll go into it with the idea of what I want it to be without taking the time to read it for what it is. And I think if people just read my story for what it is, they would see that. And if it ain't your cup of tea, hey, it ain't got to be your cup of tea. You ain't never got to review a book of mine. I'm not going to stop writing. I'm
Yeah.
not going to stop publishing. I'm not with a publishing company. I do all this out of my pocket. And if I was going to stop, this would be the time to stop because it ain't matching what I'm putting out. You see my Excel spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
So I do this because I love it, because
Yeah.
I want to do it, because I want to tell these stories. So regardless of what anybody says or what anybody does to try to hinder or hurt me, I'm still going to do what I do. So,
So let me ask you this: you won an award
yes,
for Are You Protected?
yes,
What does that mean to you as an author? And y'all, I'm not talking for Boozy Book Tour at all. I'm just saying in general.
right.
Um,
For me, at first, I was like, oh, they just nominated me just because, they cool with me. And because I always doubt my writing, I always doubt my work. That's something that I just do. Uh, and I was like, oh, I might not win because I'm up against people like,
I didn't nominate you. That was the readers that nominated you.
see, I didn't know that.
See.
See, I didn't know that. I was like, oh, look, let me keep it a buck. I was like, oh, Shannon and Storm cool with me. They just threw my name in there to help me out, blah, 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 blah. That's cool or whatever. I'm going to vote for myself every goddamn day because I sure did, baby. But, but I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, somebody else going to win because who, Kenya Wright?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, baby, ain't no way in hell my book better than Kenya Wright. and when I was nominated for hashtag Hockey Life against Alexandria House, I was like, shit. Then I made it to the third round. I was like, are people really reading the book or they just voting for random? Like, I doubt myself. Y'all don't see it, but literally every single time I put words to pen, I doubt myself. Do y'all?
Yeah.
Am I saying that just because y'all trying to be nice, or is it real? Like the submissive, I need that constant, affirmation. And this cat gonna move, Chloe, my cat. but I need that constant affirmation that I am worthy to be among what I consider the greats. Like Alexandria House is a fucking great. Kenya Wright is Kenya fucking Wright is a great. How am I
Mm-hmm.
in that company and I just got into this fucking game? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
But
so
that tells how good you write.
yeah, and then you can say it as many times as you want to. I'm still like, yeah, all right, whatever. And
At
I
least
know
I
that's
don't pay
me.
attention
I
to
know,
your ass.
I know that's me. But that's how I feel. And
Yeah.
so when I get something like that, even though I should be celebrated, and inside I'm like, fuck yeah, no, yeah. Outside it's like, are you sure? Oh, y'all just did this just to be nice. Like I always feel like y'all just doing this to be nice to me. Like I don't, yeah. And it's trauma. Childhood trauma's real in these streets, baby.
I,
But I have
I
to fight against it every day to know I'm the real bad bitch.
I'm gonna say this, y'all. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna even do my little light skin
D. Lewis.
chin check. I'm gonna say this. It is not easy being an author. I see that. I do see that with talking to y'all and being around y'all all the time. I know it's not easy.
Mhm.
Um, but there's a caveat to that. I get imposter syndrome is a thing for y'all. I don't believe in it. I don't subscribe to that membership.
Right.
I feel like y'all have a craft, a art, a skill set that is meant for y'all, and people actually love everything that you authors do.
Mhm.
I get that y'all get imposter syndrome, but like I said, I don't believe in or subscribe to that
Right.
belief. Um, y'all are stronger than y'all give yourself credit for, and it sometimes I just want to shake y'all, if not spank the shit out of y'all, because y'all don't listen, and especially yo ass don't listen. Y'all literally have gifts that a lot of us cannot do. I am not writing shit but a goddamn blog, okay? A comment even. But I really enjoy y'all writing.
Mhm.
And you took the time out. You didn't have to be an author. You chose to be an author and you're going through with it. I get that there's doubt because there are a lot of people that come down on y'all heads, especially indie authors.
Mhm.
I get that. I so wholeheartedly get that.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean I still don't want to spank y'all asses because y'all hard hit.
Yeah.
Cause y'all feed sometimes it's harder for y'all to feed into the positivity.
Yeah.
Y'all will feed into that negative shit
Yeah.
or your doubts wholeheartedly. And we are literally text messaging, telling, like, bruh, this shit was fire.
Mhm.
And yet you're still like, I could have did better. Do
Yeah.
you know how and I it invalidates your craft
Yeah.
to me. It
Mhm.
invalidates it to me because y'all work so hard to get from starting the idea to actually putting it in a book to
Yeah.
actually getting it out to readers.
Yeah.
Y'all did that. And I know doubt is such a crazy monster, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna need all, and this goes to all the authors that are on here, get that shit out your head.
And it's difficult. It's difficult because we know how much we put into the craft. We know what it takes. And a lot of times readers don't know what goes on behind the scenes to get a book published. So they looking at it as, well, why can't you just get somebody to do this? Well, why can't you just get some? They don't understand the backstory and what you sacrifice for your craft.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was at my job for 9 years and I made well over six figures. I literally quit my job in orientation for the post office. I took damn near half, 50% pay cut just so I could dedicate myself to writing and doing what I love.
Yeah.
The dedication I have. Those are the risks that I'm taking. Those are the adjustments I've been making monetarily. I work out to get this book narrated. I worked 39 hours overtime in addition to my regular 40 hours to get it done because this author shit ain't no joke to me. And
But
so,
wait. You hear you saying that, right?
yeah. So, and it's nothing for me. And I'm not complaining. It's light work. Like, I went into overtime every day. Like, boy, this audiobook gonna be bomb as fuck. But I think a lot of times what makes it disheartening is when readers just come at you and don't understand the sacrifices you make as an author. Yes, it's a sacrifice to write in your spare time. Yes, it's a sacrifice to get a book published and to do the Kindle and all that. But we out here fucking sacrificing. I could have stayed at my damn job I was at for 9 years, making my good money, spending $2,000 every pay period like it wasn't shit, and had all my bills on auto pay because I didn't give a fuck what they cost because I could cover them.
Yeah.
To go to having to budget myself to make sure all my bills get paid and what I'm gonna have left to focus on putting on a book, and do I need to work overtime in order to get it done? They don't understand those sacrifices. So when you have people that don't know anything about you, your work is good, you know it's good, but then to have them shit on your name, that's why we focus on that shit.
But I hear you. But as the bad bitch that you are, it shouldn't fucking matter. Now I'm starting to get pissed. It don't fucking matter. I
Right.
don't give a fuck what motherfucker get on this app, get in your comments, say something on your reviews. Those bitches don't fucking matter because the ones that actually support you
Yeah.
weigh everything they fucking say.
No, no,
I understand sometimes it's hard not to let that little inkling of a bad review, a bad comment, or even someone who made a video get to your head.
no, no.
Look here, Darlene. Stop that shit.
I look, I'm still pushing forward, y'all. My grind hasn't stopped. My pushing myself hasn't stopped. Now I admit I did stop doing aesthetic videos for a while because I was just like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted. But I needed that break because I think it ebbs and flows. You're gonna
Yeah,
have authors who are on a high, like I was
yeah.
my first year, and I think like the beginning of my second year, I kind of got down to a little low, and now I'm kind of evening out and doing things within balance. I think I've kind of balanced myself now. So I don't allow what they say to keep me down long, but there has to be, you have to work out those emotions. You have to feel what you feel. You have to assess it. You have to determine what you're willing to keep that was said and what you're willing to throw out that was said. And you have to learn to let it go.
And,
And so there are two things I haven't let go of yet, but I'm working slowly. The AI thing is one of them because I want to cuss
why I
people.
knew you was
I
about to say
want to
that.
I want to cuss people out every day because of that AI thing. And then I had one popular book talker who picked my book, so this is College to Read. She didn't give it a bad review, but she kept saying, "Yeah, I just couldn't. I just couldn't." And I knew it was because I talked my shit when I was in the book talk space that they do that. But I have a hater for life, and I can't let that go because they're missing out on amazing. And they probably read my books. Well, I know for a fact they was reading my books because they was going to my website to order my books, but wouldn't talk about them on Book Talk. But yeah,
Darlene, that and this goes to all y'all authors because all y'all know me. Some of y'all met me in person, some of y'all haven't. Um, I'm gonna be Storm right now. I'm gonna be the real Storm. The Storm y'all have not met yet. All right, fuck them bitches. Okay, fuck them because everybody want a viral moment. Everybody
yeah,
want to talk shit about somebody. I don't know if you was bullied in high school or elementary school, so you coming online and you're trying to make yourself seem like you're the big person. Okay, fuck them bitches. Fuck them. They can't write a book. And I'm gonna say that again. They cannot write a book. So they don't know what goes into what y'all are going through, especially as indie authors. I'm not talking about traditionally published because a hoe will fucking promote a traditionally published author in a heartbeat.
mm-hmm.
I'm talking about indie authors. They don't know what you go through. And they will never know what you go through because they can't write a book.
Yep.
And they think if they could write a book, their popularity would carry them past all that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Y'all as authors, especially indie authors that are black, I am not excluding POC authors, but I am black. So y'all indie authors that are black go through a hell of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There are readers like myself. I always say y'all saved my life because I could not have been here about 2 or 3 years ago. It would have been curtains.
Right.
But books saved me. Can you
Yeah.
write?
Yeah.
You know, interracial that y'all be tripping over, that saved me.
Yeah.
Urban fiction, paranormal, fantasy, sci-fi, comic books. They are my bread and board. I live and breathe that shit.
Yeah.
Reason being is because I believe in every author that writes. There are some authors I cannot read because they're not for me, but you will never see a fucking video.
Yep.
Because I hold them at a higher esteem because they wrote those books.
Yep.
I can't.
Yep.
I can't. They put their whole life in front of us. They put that in front of us. So I cannot judge them. And who are you to judge them? I cannot make everyone have the same opinions that I have, and that's cool. But I'm not going to argue with you. Know that I fight for real. Even at 46, I still fight. I will, yeah. Orange is the new black with me, all right? So keep it cute, all right? But I'm saying, if we're going to support black authors, we support black authors.
Mm-hmm.
Darlene writes across multiple genres. If you don't like one book, go to another.
You sure will.
If you don't like that book, go to another. She has multiple genres. And then she's coming out with a paranormal or it's fantasy, right?
Can we talk about Medusa? POTP?
Because that was my next question. What's next for you? What are any upcoming projects and genres that you are about to drop on us?
Okay, right now my editor, Joy Minor, has my book Safe Flight, which is a black romantic comedy. That book is sexy, but y'all gonna hoot and holler the whole book. Then I'm working on climate change, like the fourth and final book in the Seasons Change series. And I had an idea for a Medusa urban retelling called POTP. The Power of This Pussy is the name of the book. And the story, you know how you have, everybody keeps saying, when you write the urban fiction, when you write the urban fiction, this is like an urban mythical fantasy type thing. The premise is you have Ayana, and you know how Medusa had the hair that would put men in a trance. Well, Ayana's liquid tears put men in a trance, and they give the men certain powers. So she uses these powers to run the streets. And you've got people, men, who are trying to get this power from her. And you've got other women who aren't as powerful as her coming for a neck. So it's like a urban fiction, but female based, and it's based in the mythology of Medusa. It's very vivid. It's very descriptive. It's giving. It's giving.
When?
Baby, this book is going to be a detailed book. This book is going to be about 120,000 to 130,000 words. It's going to be a duology. But it's very descriptive, so I have to get the books that y'all keep asking for out first.
Who asking for any other books? Who asking for these books, man?
I ain't calling no names.
Shannon and Rowdy, go away. Go the fuck away. I want Medusa.
But this book is going to take time because it's going to be a book. And it plays on, because she got her eyes from her grandmother, and her mother had the same kind of trance. So it's like a generational thing, and her mother captivated her dad so much that when Ayana was born, the dad felt like his wife was giving Ayana too much attention, so he left her with the grandmother and took his wife somewhere else. They parented via FaceTime. They parented via phone. They parented via letters. But the powers that his wife possessed made him jealous of even his daughter having his wife's attention. So this book is going into, yeah, it's levels to this book, and it's going to take time to write. But I can't take the time it's going to need to write it because I got to get out my other books.
Okay. Go ahead and get Professor Resto out, okay? Because I know that is a must. And the rugby book. I don't give a fuck about everybody else, but the rugby book. But I really want that Medusa book because, like I said, paranormal is right up my alley. Fantasy, paranormal, sci-fi, that is my shit. So,
Yeah. And kind of think of like the Wizard of Oz. You know how people try to fake like they got money, but they really don't have it? Well,
yeah.
in this world, if you have wealth, the brighter your house is, the more vibrant it is. If you don't have wealth, the darker, the more ashen. So that's why I say it's very descriptive because I have to describe the ashen neighborhoods, the wealthy neighborhoods. You've got people who are walking around with ashen colored skin. They're pale because, they're just gaunt looking. They have ashen colored clothes, but they've got on a bright piece of jewelry. So that's how you can tell they flossed. They really don't have money. They just bought. You see what I'm saying?
You have sold me.
So your whole body tells your story. If you're poor, the paler your skin, the more gaunt you look. The richer you are, the more vibrant, the more voluptuous you are, the more vibrant the colors, your house, your car, everything translating to your wealth. It's like a caste system within Medusa's world.
Oh my God. Sister Harlem, we got a new fantasy sci-fi paranormal author.
So I don't know, right? I don't know what genre to put it in, but when I say that world is it's wrapped up, and
It's giving
she,
urban fantasy.
right, the first chapter, she walks into one of her houses and catches one of her, and all her workers are female, catches one of her worker using one of the men, and she just point blank range and said, "Don't play with me."
That's urban fantasy. That's gonna be urban
So
fantasy. Urban fantasy or urban paranormal. Or dark paranormal. Or dark fantasy. I don't give a fuck. I just want it.
yeah, but that's like I said, that's going to take time because I have to really build those worlds, and I've started building the worlds and everything, but I got to get my books out.
Oh my God, darling. Okay. All right. Get your books out. I'm gonna remind you probably next week about it. But get your books out, do you? But the way you just described that whole world, I need that. I need that, and I just, are you gonna have it paperback and hardback? I
Well,
need all
I'm
that.
thinking about doing both because it's going to be thick, and to all honesty, my heart is really pushing me to just focus on that for the rest of the year after I get climate change out. I really want to focus on that because I feel I've got like 10 pages of world building that I've done, and backstories, and I just really want to get it
Oh,
out. So climate change, I'm writing it now, but I feel like after climate change, my energy is pushing me towards PLTP.
woo! I can't wait. I can't fucking wait, bruh. I'm excited. I'm excited. Come on now. I'm rubbing my hands like that's what I'm talking about. So where you gonna be outside this year? Where you gonna be outside?
Whew. I've got Boozy Book Tour in May in Raleigh, North Carolina. I've got the Romantic Atlanta's Writers and Readers event in June in Columbus, Georgia. I've got Boozy Book Tour in Arlington, Virginia. And outside of that, those are the outsides I'm gonna be at this year. Next year, I want to try to do more localized events like in Georgia, Alabama, Florida areas I can drive through.
Yeah.
Um, and then in 2026, I'm doing Vegas, Boozy Book Tour Vegas. So yeah, I'm trying to be outside while I write. If I ever, knock wood, get the opportunity to be a full-time writer, I'll definitely be able to focus 100% on writing and being outside.
I feel that you're gonna be a full-time writer this year. I'm just speaking that to the universe. But anywho, give us all the social medias. Give me your website and give me the last word for this podcast.
Okay. My social medias are author Darlene C on Patreon. I actually have a series on Patreon now that talks about how to become a indie self-published author. I give you resources and all of that. I'm also working on putting up a web series on how to become a vendor at book events and what you need to know. And I'm also discussing your brand, selling, and marketing via my Patreon. You have to be a $5 member to get the series, but I'm giving you series on everything that I've done to kind of get to where I am in these last almost 2.5 years at author Darlene C. You can find me everywhere at author Darlene C. That's all my socials. My website is darlenecunningham.com, where you can get paperbacks, ebooks, and audiobooks cheaper than on Amazon and Audible. My audiobooks are $4 and $8. My ebooks are 99 up until $2. And my paperbacks are like $5 up to like 13 or $14. So I'm trying to get myself slowly but surely off Amazon and Kindle. They're still up, but they're going to be priced higher because they charge me for producing the product. So darlenecunningham.com is the best place to go to get inexpensive books. I have merchandise on the website also, and you can always sign up for my newsletter because I always send coupon codes. I just had someone get some audiobooks for like $3, $3 and $6 audiobooks. So yeah, and my final word is I write beautifully flawed characters. And I want everybody out there to know from the bottom of my heart, it's okay to be flawed. Being flawed is a beautiful thing. You don't want cookie cutter. You don't want to be like everyone else. You want to stand out from the crowd. So I write beautifully flawed characters that challenge the way of loving and living in the world. So if you're ever questioning being your authentic self versus being who someone wants you to be, choose your authentic self.
I love that. Lastly, before we get out of here, before Nicole get in my ass, or
Oh
she,
wait, also one more thing. Also, I'll be with AA and D Lewis tomorrow on live at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna discuss the audio for 12 play of Black BDSM romance. And I do have a clip of the 12 play on my website.
you
Okay,
bet.
go ahead, Storm.
Um, here we go. Why I feel like I'm an infomercial or some shit.
Promote your shit.
All right, so I have a social media content planner that is the Black Girl Social Media Content Planner that has goals, content creation, and learning how to self-care for yourself. It's 3-in-1. It's on Amazon and it's on my website. And on my website, in which I have a blog, which is also in the bio in Smile, whatever the fuck, it's up there. You can go to my website and you can see my thoughts written down. Now, if you're expecting some editorial shit, you're wrong. You're going to get nasty my thoughts, how I really speak. If I tell a bitch needs to swallow, it's literally I put it on that damn blog. Some characters do need to swallow. Um then I also have my YouTube channel. I appreciate y'all getting me to 930 on there. 1,000 will have me monetized. I mean, I don't kick. You know what? Let me shut up before Nicole kick my ass. I appreciate it, and if you could subscribe, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, Boozy Book Tour. This is the last year we are doing so many cities in 1 year. So if you want to go to Raleigh, Arlington, Virginia, Orlando, Florida, Chicago, this is your perfect time to go because now after 2025, we're only doing 3 cities a year and they will be themed events only. Sponsorship is available. If you would like to be an author, a small business, or whatever to sponsor the event, we have packages available. As well as Shannon, my business partner, has an online bookstore. If you are an author looking for someone to do your merch, looking to get your book on a bookstore and in a book box, she is the person to go to because her book boxes are amazing. Amazing. So if you go to Big I Read Books or the Literary DFW website, you will find her link to her website for her bookstore. So if you are an indie author and need your book in a bookstore, support a Black woman who owns a bookstore online that's trying to help you as well as help herself. Because we want Shannon to do this full time. She needs to get out of that man's job. Okay, just saying. And what else? I think I covered everything. Oh, and Booked and Busy. If you have not, if you're an author who is looking for another podcast to go to, Booked and Busy has a beautiful podcast called Pop Your Shit, Your Ish. And you should DM her and say you want to be on her podcast because she does an amazing job. She was the podcaster for Boozy Book Tour, Melanin Ball. You need to go to her page so to know, hey, I'm an indie author. You know what I'm saying? So you have multiple choices to do book podcasts for. So you got myself, you got Booked and Busy. I want y'all to go over there and support her hardcore. I want you to support that Black owned woman bookstore, Shannon, and all the stuff that she does, because she even is with a PA if you need her to be, but you got to pay her because
She actually did this shirt for me. I write coochie clapping romance. She did this for me for Boozy Book Tour.
So I need y'all to support Black women and support Black individuals that are in this bookish space, because we do have businesses instead of y'all outsourcing to these white folk. Just saying. And lastly, Brianna Michelle has a paranormal that just dropped. And I need y'all to support her. She's in the comments. Her name is author Brianna Michelle. She has a paranormal that just dropped. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Darlene, for coming on to my show. And I appreciate you so much. I didn't realize I did that at the table.
Yes, you did.
I did. I didn't realize I did that. But I'm happy I did. Um, but I look forward to seeing you in Raleigh. It was a fun time being around you. You are a hoot in person.
I feel like we need to. I'm gonna let you go. I feel like authors need to understand this is a business, and readers are our customers. So I try to make customers feel how I want to feel, and that's why I was always on, because I want the reader to feel good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So if you haven't looked at the list of authors that are on the different cities, I need you to get their books. Try them out. Don't say you won't read them because they're not your fave.
Yep.
Because, baby, if you stuck in one way, that means your sex life is boring as shit. I need you to get out your comfort zone, and I need you to read some of these authors. I need you to get your tickets to the Boozy Book Tour, because that's an experience you will never have at another event, because that is a family reunion of bookness.
Yes.
So with that being said, thank you, and I'm gonna get out here, and y'all make sure y'all go watch them tomorrow at 8 p.m. when A.A. Lewis and D. Lewis and Darlene are on there, probably cutting the fuck up. All right.